What's up, y'all? Entropy here. Welcome back to Old Dominion Dynasty. We're in the off season. I was just kind of simming ahead to kind of get ready for this episode, and I got this notification. Looks like we did, in fact, win Coach of the Year. I don't think we learned that in any previous episode. Maybe we're about to, but I wanted to start the recording here in case we didn't learn that. All right, here we go. So our job security is safe. A+ coach prestige, which is pretty awesome. We've got our previous two seasons at 10-4 and 12-2. That is a very impressive record to be looking at there. And it looks like I was correct. We did play in the RNL Carries New Orleans Bowl both years. So we've our target wins per year here is 9. So we've raised the floor we've raised the expectations, I should say, of the fan base, as we're now targeting 9 wins a year, which is pretty wild. But it comes with success, right? I never really bothered looking at this page, but Ryan Henry and Artarian Johnson actually led the whole nation in tackles over the course of the season. They were 1 and 2, so that's pretty wild. All right, time for the sad part of the offseason. We see players leaving, so we'll get to see all the guys who graduate, and if anyone transfers out or anything, we'll see that as well. I wanted to check just to be sure, and would you look at that? Both our D coordinator and offensive coordinator left for new jobs. S. Sloan and K. Johns, respectively, and we've hired Peter Sermon and Matt Lubbock to be our new coordinators. I'm not sure who those guys are. I'm sure they're real people, because I think the Revamped team put real coaches in here, so I'm sure they're real guys, but I'm not sure who they are off the top of my head. I wonder where those guys went to. Let me see if I can find them. Scott Sloan went to FIU JMU, that whole weird thing that happened with FIU turning into James Madison with the update, so that got thrown off. But he is coaching at that school now because their coach retired. It looks like Kevin Johns was hired away to be the head coach at Tulsa. So both our coordinators got head coaching jobs. Good for them. Maybe we'll have to schedule one of them this upcoming season. Greg Bailey, that quarterback we brought in last recruiting class, is already transferred due to playing time and is going to Vanderbilt. Dude, you were going to play for us maybe next year. I redshirted him because I just wanted to kind of help with his development and stuff, but I mean, there's a chance in like garbage time or whatever to try and maybe protect Wolf a little bit. We would bring him in late in the games. I was actually kind of looking forward to that, but we're not going to get that chance now because he's leaving. He's the only transfer we have, and everyone else is graduating. No one's going to the draft, it looks like. So we'll start going down the list, I guess. Dante Anthony Jr. was a tight end. He didn't play much. I think he might have even been like a fullback at times, but haven't really seen much from him. So he's graduating. Artarian Johnson we have heard of. A star strong safety who is an impact player on the defense. He'll certainly be missed. I think our safety room is actually going to be like barren this upcoming year. We had to recruit like 3, and I think they're somewhat low overall, so we're going to have to navigate that a little bit. So he will definitely be missed. The guy made a ton of plays for us. Tyron Hunt, the left guard, is graduating. Always a bummer to lose an O-lineman, but I think we've got a guy waiting in the wings ready at that position already. Ryan Henry, I mean, maybe the star of the defense. He was my user since the beginning of the series. One heck of a player. Just really could do it all at that middle linebacker spot. Definitely will be missed. Steven Williams, one of the outside linebackers, really, really good off the edge. Even though he's listed as a coverage linebacker, I feel like he had a lot of sacks and TFLs throughout his career. Marcus Haynes as well, the right end, another guy who generated a lot of pressure for us, especially I feel like this past season. That first year, I think I remember there being a stretch where we didn't hear from him for a while, but he really turned it up this year and was a real difference maker for us, so he'll be missed for sure. Tyree Bibby, one of our big guys up the middle, a guy that, our D tackles are good. I wouldn't say our D tackles are particular difference makers, but he's definitely one of the best that we have, so he'll be a big loss. Robert Kennedy III, the other safety, the starting back there with Artarian Johnson. Again, same thing as Artarian Johnson, just both of those guys made a ton of plays for us this past year, so he'll definitely be missed. Carson Ramos, Ramos, I'm not super familiar with. He must have been buried on our depth chart a little bit. DJ Mack Jr. started as our quarterback and was eventually replaced by the much better passer, Hayden Wolf. DJ MJ, as we called him, brought a nice dual threat ability, but just wasn't dependable through the air, but took the backup role in stride this past year. So for that, we salute you. Trey Blunt, a receiver, don't remember him much. Garrick Vollmer, our starting center, an 84 overall, pretty high. I think one of our highest rated offensive linemen. It's always a bummer losing your center, the quarterback of the O-line, if you will. Trey Hawkins III, our 6'3" corner. He's like most of the corners that we inherited. He's not very fast, but guy made a ton of plays, was our number one corner this past season, and I don't remember him getting burnt too often. It happened, but not very often, so it's definitely going to be a hole to fill. Hopefully Lamarian James or whoever else is primed for that number one spot is ready to take over. Estefano Feliciano, another guy that was benched this past year for James Ostrander. Feliciano, I think, is even like particularly slow. We played Ostrander more for his speed and the fact that he's like 6'5", but I think Feliciano's a really slow linebacker, so he was limited more to special teams. But a guy that did play for us quite a bit, I believe, his first year, if my memory serves me correctly. Justin Richardson, the backup strong safety, didn't see any playing time. I can't tell you a single play he made, but best of luck to you post-graduation. And that's it. Those are the guys that are graduating. A good list, a lot of difference makers, so we're going to have a lot of people that are going to have to step up this upcoming year. Oh, we got one transfer request. Andy McClellan, a 6 foot, 188-pound scrambler from Nebraska. A 79 overall as well. Wow. Yes, we will absolutely take him. I wonder if... Okay, looks like he did play a little bit for them last year. 16 for 41 is not a good completion percentage. 39% I see there. Only 167 yards, touchdown, interception. I assume he was just like a guy you bring in at the end of the game type guy. Oh, wow, 88 speed. That's intriguing for sure. 68 awareness is not great. 85 throw power is very good, very solid. Throw accuracy 78 is not as bad as I was expecting. Decently elusive as well. Okay, I like this guy. I don't know how many more seasons of this series I'm going to be doing, especially with the new game coming out. So it sucks that it doesn't have the immediate transfer rule, so he won't be eligible for us this year. But losing Greg Bailey and then getting McClellan, who is like 12 overall higher, I think, than Bailey, that's definitely a huge W. So I will gladly take him. Going into the big recruiting portion of the offseason, the part that has me the most stressed out, we have two recruiting battles that we're in. One with Kenton Thompson, the center, one with Travis Washington, the left guard. I've been trying to do a lot of thinking of how I want to approach this. I still am not 100% sure, but I think Thompson's a guy we're going to try and win that battle. I think Travis Washington's a guy we're going to cut our losses with. We don't have a tremendous need on the O-line outside of center. Center we have a need for, but we don't really have a need at either guard spot for this next season, I don't think. So I think Washington may be a guy we cut our losses with, but Kenton Thompson's a guy we're definitely going to try and get. But I'm going to kind of get it all sorted, I think. Maybe I'll include some of my thought process in the video here. But it's going to be... I still have a lot of decisions to make, and as of me saying this, I'm still not 100% sure how I'm going to do it. Another guy I forgot to mention that I think I'm just going to be cutting ties with here is Justin Williams, that JUCO middle linebacker we added late to the cycle. I think what I'm going to do instead, as kind of a workaround since we didn't have any luck recruiting middle linebackers, I'm going to change my defensive scheme. I already did it here, so as you can see, middle linebacker is no longer listed as a need for us, and that's because I'm switching the defense to kind of a 4-3 scheme instead. So I'm only going to need one middle linebacker on the field at a time, and with the 3 that I'm going to have for this upcoming season, that should be enough. So as you can see, it's no longer listed as a need for us, so we're not even going to have to worry about it. I mean, a 63 overall JUCO transfer being our only real option at the position, like, that just doesn't do enough for me. I'd rather change the scheme up a little bit than have to kind of worry about that. Because he's just not going to be very good, very high overall, and I don't think he'll ever really see the field for us. The other guy as well, I'm seeing his name down here, so I figure I'll point him out, is Daryl Owens, the D-tackle. D-tackle, I think, is also not really a need for us. We've got 4 on the roster already. It's just, I don't think it's going to be worth it. We're going to play more D-tackles this year, switching to a 4-3. We'll have 2 on the field and stuff like that, but I think with the amount of points I'd have to put into them to try and, like, actually get meaningful progress on them, I just don't think I'm gonna. I just don't think it's worth it. Is what I'm trying to say. So he's another guy we're kind of just cutting our losses with. And then Mike Stovall, we have a lead for him. I also don't intend on putting points into him, but it's a name that may pop up if no one else goes after him. I imagine one of these other schools will put a lot of points into him here and try and land him. So we'll get passed, I think, by somebody. But just in case he does end up committing, so you're not confused on who that is. But I don't think we're gonna get him as of right now. So that leaves us with the guys that we are considering. Again, Travis Washington, even though we're in a battle for him, it's us and Pitt. I think I'm just going to cut my losses with him. David Smith is the other guard. I'm still not sure. We have a lead on him. I'm not sure if maybe I want to just put 1,000 into him or something like that. Maybe I'll just put him in there now, kind of as a placeholder, so I don't forget about him. But it's not a huge need for us at the guard spot more than it is the center. So Kenton Thompson, I definitely want to put, like, I don't know, 3, maybe 4,000 into him. I mean, it's us and Coastal. Coastal's only 170 behind. I don't know how many points they intend on putting into him, but I think we're going to have to be pretty aggressive. So I'll put 4,000 into him for now. And then that leaves us with the 3 athletes here. Brandon Austin is the highest overall of the 3, but I think, as I've kind of indicated through these videos since I added him to the board, he's the least intriguing of the 3. He's 5'11", 213, and frankly, I can't really figure out what I would do with him. I probably would make him a receiver because all of his catching, route running, catching traffic, spec catch, all that is pretty good. He also seems to have decent coverage ability, so you could probably play on the defensive side of the ball. But I just don't know if I think that's going to be a worthwhile guy to go after. I may put 1,000 into him just to kind of see. Oh, not that one, not 10,000. I think I'm going to put 1,000 into him just to kind of be in the race. I imagine Western Michigan here will probably put more into him, but that's kind of where my head's at for now. Aaron Mack, a guy that we have a lead for. We nearly got him to the point where he wants to visit. Like, we were so close. Just didn't quite get there. And I definitely want to put points into him. At least 1,000, maybe 2. And you'll kind of see where my thought process is once I go up to the last guy here, which is Rob Jones. Rob Jones is the athlete that we added to the board that looks like he could be a very fun and interesting quarterback. A 92 speed, a 90 agility, 92 stamina, and then he's got 72 carrying, 83 elusive, 79 juke, 77 spin, 81 throw power, 79 throw accuracy. Obviously not the greatest throwing stats in the world, but as long as that throw power is north of 80, you can I find I can kind of manage with it. It's obviously not as good as I would like to see it, but it's good. But the problem is we're behind on him. Ohio State's got a considerable lead for us on him. However, I'm thinking if we put a ton of points into him, like for right now, I've got 7,000 at my disposal. If we put like 7,000 points into him, I'm wondering if there's a chance we could steal him. We could jump Ohio State and steal Rob Jones right from underneath them. It's risky because we're putting a lot of points into a guy who currently isn't, like, we're definitely not at the top of his board clearly, and we're considerably behind the top of their board, but he hasn't committed to Ohio State. And I don't think he was even able to visit them, if I'm remembering correctly, because they also added him to their board late, I think, because we were kind of moving up with them. But do I think it's worth it to put that many points into a guy that we may not even land? I mean, frankly, a lot outside of Kenton Thompson, most of these guys on the board here are kind of luxury ads, for lack of a better term. Like, it'd be nice to get David Smith, get another guard. It'd be nice to get Brandon Austin. He's an athlete. We'll figure out what to do with him if we get him. He's coming in at a 79 overall. Aaron Mack, 6'3", 217. He'd be an immediate add to the receiver room, and I think he'd contribute pretty quickly. Although our receiver room is starting to get a little crowded, so I'm not 100% sure. But I would definitely try and get him on the field for sure. But Rob Jones would maybe be, outside of Kenton Thompson, maybe the biggest impact player. Because right now, especially with Greg Bailey transferring out, which was completely unexpected, we don't have a quarterback right now outside of Hayden Wolf. We've got a guy on the bench whose last name is like Poffenbarger or something. He's never played, as far as I know. He's just been the third stringer behind Wolf and DJ MJ. But I'm wondering if trying to land Rob Jones, getting the quarterback from Nebraska is helpful. But he can't play this year because he's a transfer. He has to sit out a year. So as it stands right now, I think we only have the two quarterbacks on the roster in Wolf and Poffenbarger. So I'm almost wondering if we should really try and land Rob Jones for that reason as well. And then the question is 7,000 points enough? I don't know. That's the tricky part. And that's why I've been so stressed about... I mean, this whole recruiting thing always stresses me the crap out whenever I do one of these dynasties. Because it's like your last chance with so many recruits. And like, you don't want to screw it up. If you watched my Eastern Michigan Dynasty, I think I posted the offseason episode. I may not have even posted the offseason episode now that I think about it, because I don't think I ever did past the first season. But that signing day went horribly for me. I had like 4 or 5 guys I tried going after. I only got one to commit on signing day, and it wasn't really a high priority of mine. All the guys I was really trying to get, I got edged out by bigger schools, or... I remember one guy had the weird thing where, like, and I'm worried about it happening with these guys too, where, like, they just don't commit because their bar isn't full or whatever, and that scares the crap out of me, because I could put points into a guy like Aaron Mack or Brandon Austin, or, I mean, 7,000's a lot, but theoretically even Rob Jones or David Smith here, where, like, because their bar isn't filled, maybe they just decide not to come. It does happen in this game. I don't know why it happens. I don't know what it's supposed to represent. I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's intentional, but it does happen, which scares me. So like, it's just I always find signing day and all this recruiting in the offseason to be kind of a stressful thing, because I want it to be as good of a signing day as we can hope for. And I think Rob Jones is going to be a huge part of that. Now the question is 7,000 points enough? I just rambled for a really long time. You could tell probably that I'm a bit scatterbrained as I'm really thinking this whole thing through right now. I feel okay about how I have the points right now, but do I think they need adjusting? I don't know. Okay, this is bold. I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm out of the Brandon Austin race. I'm out of the David Smith race. David Smith's only a 65 overall, not a position of need. We have a lead for him. We still might end up getting him somehow, but won't be going after him. Brandon Austin, like I said, I don't really know what I would do with him. I'd probably make him a receiver, but the receiver room's already kind of crowded, and I just don't think it's worth it. Aaron Mack, I still think is worth going after. We're putting 1,500 into him. Hopefully none of these other schools put too much into him, because we're kind of the only team going after him, it looks like. But I'm putting 9,500 into Rob Jones, and I am just praying this is enough and we're going to be able to land him, because I really, really want to add this guy to the team. And hopefully this will be enough. I'm not sure what the odds are here. I don't know if this is even something that can happen, but we're going to try it. My heart is going a mile a minute, but we're advancing to signing day. Let's see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Rob Jones is a Monarch. We put the points into him. We beat out Ohio State for him, and we were able to land him. I'm super excited. He's listed as a running back here. We're going to put him in the quarterback room for sure. And he, honestly, that became, like I said, with Greg Bailey transferring out, that became such a surprise position of need all of a sudden, with only 2 other quarterbacks on the roster, plus a transfer who's ineligible this year. We needed to land a guy to play at quarterback, and that's where Rob Jones is going to be. We also landed Kenton Thompson, position in need, finally filled. We spent all season trying to get a center. He was the guy we were after. We finally got him. And Mike Stovall, I'm glad I pointed him out. I wasn't sure if I should or not, but that right tackle did commit as well, so we will be adding him to the room. Maybe we kick him inside as a guard because we didn't go after the other guards we were looking at. Oh, never mind. David Smith committed too. I didn't even see that. David Smith has also committed, so we will add him to the offensive line room as well. So that's 3 O-line commits that we got on signing day. And Larry Mitchell, a defensive end, I didn't even point him out because I wasn't putting any points into it. We must have had a lead for him and offered him a scholarship at some point. I don't know. But that's cool. Another guy to add to the team. I'll never complain about a guy committing, even someone with a kind of a low overall. Travis Washington ended up going to Pittsburgh. Daryl Owens went to Florida State. That's not surprising. He was their top school. That middle linebacker went to Memphis. That's the other school that we were kind of in that race with. I did also see up here Aaron Mack, that receiver athlete, did end up committing to Oklahoma. They went after him harder than we were willing to. It sucks. That's the one thing that hurts about this screen that I'm looking at right here. Just because he would have been nice to add. 6'3", good speed, was going to be a very, very good receiver. But we didn't make him as much of a priority. Like I said, our receiving room's already crowded. I think we returned like almost all of our production from last year anyway. Plus more new guys are coming in. So it's fine. We'll be able to live with it. And Brandon Austin, the other receiver, the athlete, committed to Western Michigan, unsurprisingly. Oh, wow, Oklahoma dumped a ton of points in Aaron Mack. I don't really feel bad about that anymore. We were never going to be putting that many points into him. Kenton Thompson, we ended up winning decisively. It almost looks like Coastal just decided not to go after him at all on signing day. They just cut their losses with him, I guess, but that's cool. We will gladly take that. And Rob Jones, we ended up beating Ohio State out considerably as well. That's super exciting. I'm so happy we were able to win a huge recruiting battle like that. Just signing day, he's a late add to the board. Ohio State got on him about the same time. With their resources, they built up a bigger lead. But then on signing day, Coach Ropy called up Rob and was like, look, man, you'll come in and be a day one contributor for us. And that was enough of a sell. He will come in as the backup quarterback, but trust me, you will be seeing Rob Jones on the field this year. There's no doubt about that. Next up, we got position changes. We'll have to do this for quite a few guys. Oh, I'm stupid. I completely forgot that we already had signed, we had already got a commitment, I should say, from James Kirby in this recruiting class. So that helps kind of ease the pain of losing Greg Bailey this offseason, because we still have James Kirby as well. So we did have 3 quarterbacks that would have been eligible. So maybe our quarterback situation wasn't as urgent as I kind of expected, I should say. But Rob Jones coming in is still going to be awesome for this room. And here is the guy I was referring to, Reese Poffenbarger, who's been on the team since day one, I believe. But I don't know if he'll see the field for us. David Smith is currently a right guard, but as you can see here, we only have 1 left guard at the moment, so he will be sliding over to left guard to back up. I already forgot his name, Talon Hunter, who is our new left guard, because I believe our left guard was one of the ones that graduated. Santana Saunders is a right tackle at the moment. We have 4 right tackles, but we're going to be moving him over to left tackle to balance it out, because we only have 2 left tackles at the moment. So currently, he's our highest overall left tackle, interestingly enough, with the move. But with training still to come, these overalls are going to go up. I really wish they had them in different order. I wish the training happened first, and then you could reorder do the position changes. Because the way it's set up right now, you're kind of guessing at what overall these guys are going to end up at, which is kind of stupid. Steve Harris, a guy who's kind of been waiting in the wings, stuck behind Amori Morrison here. He will be sliding over to right end, and as you'll see in a second, those are the D tackles. He is now our starting right end because our current defensive end room on the right side is not very good. We've got the 2 freshmen coming in here. Oh, Larry Mitchell's a bust. So he's probably a guy we scouted, and then that's why I didn't go after him, because he was a bust. But somehow we ended up still being his top school, so that's kind of interesting. Wow, I didn't realize how depleted our outside linebacker room was. Jason Johnson will be sliding in as the backup to left outside linebacker, but then at right outside linebacker, where Steven Williams just graduated, John Stewart is currently listed as a starter. We'll see how the camp upgrades, the training upgrades go, I should say, but there's a very good chance we have a true freshman starting at right outside linebacker here. All right, now for the athletes who we will be assigning positions to outright. So Justin Alexander, at 6'4", 216, I'm thinking wide receiver. 73 overall wide receiver. A 72 overall running back at 6'4" is wild. No, he will probably be a wide receiver unless there's some other position that he is really good at for some reason. No, not good on the defensive side. I think we knew that already, but I kind of forgot because he's been committed for a couple weeks now. But Justin Alexander will be moving to wide receiver. David Monroe, of course, we know that he's been listed as a strong safety, where he's a 75 overall and a 76 overall free safety even. But no, with his ball carrier ability, he will be playing running back where he is a 79 overall. And he will start, I think, pretty much day one. And Rob Jones, the huge recruiting win. I'm still so amped that he's even on our team. He's a 77 overall running back, and he's actually even a higher overall at quarterback. And that is where he will be playing, the freshman out of Kapalama, Hawaii. Which is even cooler that he's from Hawaii. It's been a while, I think, since I pulled a guy out of Hawaii in one of my dynasties. So that's pretty cool, even in and of itself. That's part of the fun of the college games, is that you recruit these kids from all over the country, and the storylines are so cool to watch. It's part of what makes the college football games great. All right, next stage, we've got the training results, so we'll get to see what all the hard work these guys put in the offseason gets them. Hayden Wolf up to a 92 overall, +4. Let's see what he got in the throwing department. Up to an 88 throw power, 87 throw accuracy, so he's ready to just dot up defenses all year. It looks like Andy McClellan participated in the offseason program. That's kind of interesting because the freshmen don't get any of these upgrades, but it's interesting that an incoming transfer does. So that's cool. Again, I really wish that he was available this year because I'd love to see him, but he's just gonna have to sit and wait. Blake Watson up to an 87 overall, Elijah Davis up to an 86 overall, Matt Geiger up to an 84 overall. I think a lot of these guys are kind of going to be cut candidates. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but when it comes to trimming the roster down, I'm probably going to be cutting guys who are quote unquote higher overall players in favor of guys who I actually recruited to come in. It'll kind of make the roster a little more realistic anyway, so it'll be a little more fun. So most of these guys are probably going to get cut, but John Livingston up to a 73 overall and a 93 speed, which is just awesome. Let's see what his carrying's at. Up to a 70, that's good. Still the lowest in the room, and 10 lower than Blake Watson still, but that's good, I guess. I'm surprised his catch rating is that low, because I feel like he was a pretty dependable guy in the catching department for us. And I'm trying to find if there's an injury rating. Oh no, his injury rating is a 68. Yeah, that makes sense why he got hurt so much last year. I didn't even notice that. I didn't realize it was that low, so that kind of sucks. But fortunately, with David Monroe coming in now, he'll have a lot more support, as well as the other freshman running backs that we added too. Ollie Jennings up to a 91 overall, John Marshall up to an 85 overall, and his speed didn't get upgraded, still at 92, but that's fine. Javon Harvey up to an 85, Jordan Bly up to an 83. Make no mistake, Jordan Bly will still be our number 3 receiver behind Javon Harvey, even though Harvey's technically a higher overall now, because I'm not keeping that guy off the field. No doubt about that. And then Mike Cole is up to a 67 overall, so he's a huge major project. I'm surprised he didn't transfer out, to be honest with you, especially when you look at how many receivers we have on this team. Although again, just like the running back, a lot of these guys are probably going to get cut. Isaiah Spencer now actually our highest rated tight end, but I think Zach Kuntz is still going to be our starter. He's deserved it. He's been so good for us in the receiving game and in the blocking game, really. So even though he's not the highest overall, Kuntz will still be our starter. But nice to see some improvement from Isaiah Spencer as well. Amari Morrison up to an 84 overall, and Deep Harris up to an 83 overall. So we've got, once again, looks like some real solid bookends to our defensive line. Chaz Wallace, Alonzo Ford Jr., and Sequoia McDuffie, all at 81 overall after this offseason. So probably due to just familiarity, Wallace and Ford will likely be our top 2, with McDuffie coming in as a replacement, and then Aaron Ellis, the guy that we recruited last offseason, will be filling in where he's needed. James Ostrander up to a 73 overall, very nice to see. Alex Solano up to a 79 overall. Hopefully he's ready to take on the role of Ryan Henry as the quarterback of the defense. And I wanted to point this out as well. Malcolm Britt is on the roster, and he's a higher overall than Antonio Bryan, who was the linebacker we recruited last season. But I think I'm going to move Antonio Bryan up to second on the depth chart, mostly because of that 88 speed that he's got there. And I think he saw a handful of snaps this past year. I don't know if he ever registered any stats or anything, but his name was definitely flying around on screen at some point. And he's going to be second on the depth chart, so hopefully he'll get a little more time. Lamarian James ready to take over as our #1 corner, followed by, I'm going to make Josh Cruz cornerback #2 for sure, just with the speed difference. And then Damian Charity will be the third. And then Anton Stewart up to a 71 overall, so I think he will slide in as our 4th, because I think the freshman we recruited is a 68. So him and Sean Thomas, the guy from last cycle, will be competing for playing time behind him, mostly on special teams. Ali, one of the best names that we inherited on this team, will be taking over starting free safety at an 81 overall. Jason Paris up to an 83. Let's see what his kick ratings are at. Up to 93 kick power, that's awesome, and up to 75 kick accuracy. So he'll be ready for a strong sophomore campaign after a very strong freshman campaign of his. All right, interestingly enough, it looks like we only have to cut 6 guys, so let's see if we have any like crazy low overalls. All right, I don't know where this 47 overall defensive tackle came from, but he is going to be cut. And then I think the rest we're going to trim down from our skill positions here. As I meant, we just have an obscene amount of players right now at these positions. So, oh gosh, why are there so many of them? And same thing here. I mean, gosh dang, there's so many guys here that are just... I'm probably, even though I'm only going to have to cut like 5 of these guys in total, I think a lot of these guys I'm just going to have surpass on the depth chart in favor of guys like Justin Alexander, Vincent Young, and maybe even Mike Cole. Depending on, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 receiver slots were allowed. But it's kind of ridiculous how many guys that we're going to be able to carry into this next season. And frankly, I want to play my guys, not the guys that I just inherited from the roster. All right, we cut a couple guys, couple running backs, couple receivers, and just like that, we're down to 70, so we're ready to roll. Surprise! Old Dominion is invited to join the ACC. We will be in the Coastal Conference, or division rather, mostly because it puts us in the same division as Virginia and Virginia Tech, which I believe are 2 schools that are officially recognized rivals of Old Dominion in this game. So I wanted to be able to play both of them, and we needed to add another team to balance out the division. So I brought over Marshall, another team from the Sun Belt, a team that we destroyed this past season. But of the teams in the Sun Belt, they seemed like the one that would kind of fit in the best up here, for lack of a better term. There weren't great options, but we needed to bring one over, and Marshall ended up being the choice. All right, on to the preseason, where we will have several things we have to do, including redshirting, depth chart, setting up the recruiting board, and all that, and as well as putting together our schedule. So this is always it's the last stage of the offseason, and it's a loaded stage. There's a lot to do. Andy McClellan, of course, forcing a redshirt to happen just because he's a transfer, so he doesn't lose eligibility. James Kirby, we're going to be giving a redshirt to as well. He'll be the one. He's the guy we could burn his red shirt if we feel like we need to. Hopefully it never comes to that point, though. Mike Flynn and Corey Davis, both of those freshman running backs, will be getting a red shirt as well. Well, I didn't realize we had 3 senior tight ends, so I'm actually really glad now that we brought in these 2 guys, these true freshmen, but they will be redshirted as well because we don't need 5. Mike Stovall, we're going to redshirt. He's 3rd on the right tackle depth chart. I don't think we're going to need him for this upcoming year. Larry Mitchell, I guess we'll redshirt. I like to run 3 deep at defensive end because fatigue and if there's an injury or whatever. So we'll just redshirt him. All right, the depth chart. So Hayden Wolf will be our starting quarterback with Rob Jones coming in at the 2nd quarterback spot and then Puffin Barger behind him. Running back, David Monroe, the true freshman, will be starting at running back. John Livingston will back him up. I want to keep getting that speed involved. And then Blake Watson will slide in that 3rd and Elijah Davis 4th. All right, wide receiver. Ollie Jennings, of course, will be on number 1. John Marshall will slide in at second behind him. Jordan Blythe, third. And then Justin Alexander will be our 4th receiver, the true freshman. Vincent Young, the true freshman, will be 5th. And then Mike Cole, the redshirt freshman, 6'7", 91 speed freak of nature, will be 6th. Obviously, you'll notice that we have a lot of higher overall guys that aren't on the depth chart, including Raphael McCoy, who's been a very dependable playmaker for us. But I'm trying to kind of simulate a more realistic real-life team. I think if this team existed in modern college football, a guy like Ollie Jennings probably would have transferred to a bigger program or maybe gone pro after this past season. A guy like Raphael McCoy may transfer out for better playing time or whatever. So I'm trying to kind of simulate that by playing the guys that we've been recruiting as depth pieces instead of just guys that I already had. Zach Kuntz will be our starting tight end, followed by Isaiah Spencer and AC White. Offensive line, Santana Saunders at left tackle, Taylon Hunter at left guard, Xavier Black at center, Leroy Thomas at right guard, Nick Saldiveri at right tackle. Amori Morrison will start at left end, as he has basically since we started this series, and Dave Harris will slide in at right end to replace Marcus Haynes. As I kind of indicated, we'll kind of go by familiarity at D tackle. Alonzo Ford Jr. will start, and Chaz Wallace will be starting next to him, and then Sequoia McDuffie will be the third guy. James Ostrander will start at left outside line. Very interesting that Damian Charity is a 74 overall linebacker. I wasn't really expecting that. But to try and keep this somewhat realistic, we will slide Tommy Smith in here, the redshirt freshman, as the backup to James Ostrander. As I indicated before, Alex Lano will start, followed by Antonio Bryan, the sophomore with 88 speed, and then Malcolm Britt will slide in third. Damian Charity will be 4th because I don't have a 4th middle linebacker, so screw it. Why not him? John Stewart, the true freshman, only a 68 overall. I hope he's ready. I hope he's ready to play, because we're going to need him to play right away. And he will be backed up by Alex Chandler. Lamarian James will be our number 1 corner, followed by Josh Cruz, the stud from last year that just intercepted so many passes. Damian Charity will be 3rd on the depth chart, followed by Anton Stewart, the sophomore, who did get an interception last year, but was mostly relegated to special teams. And then Sean Thomas will play just because of seniority. He's a redshirt freshman versus, I believe Doug Stewart is the guy's name. The guy we recruited this past, Doug Hughes, who is also a 68 overall, but he's a true freshman. So by seniority rules, Sean Thomas will be our 5th corner. Ali will be our starting free safety, backed up by Kevin Dotson. Now here's where it gets tricky. Maurice Allen is currently our starting strong safety at 65 overall. Damian Charity is an 81 overall strong safety, which I think is very interesting. And don't forget, David Monroe was listed as a strong safety on his on the recruiting board. But do I really want to try the two-way thing with him, especially if Damian Charity's that much better of an option? I'm almost wondering if Damian Charity may be the move here, just for the sake of getting the best guy back there possible. This may force potentially Anton Stewart and Sean Thomas into more cornerback duties than maybe expected, but I mean, I don't want to start a 65 overall back there at strong safety. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have Charity start. We'll have David Monroe back him up, because I guess why not? And then if Charity needs a breather, Monroe can come in. It'd be super cool if we do see him actually make some plays in the secondary, but I don't run two-way players super often in this game, so I don't know what the odds are that he'll get exhausted by it or whatever. So at least to start, Charity will start at strong safety, and then Monroe will back him up, and then Maurice Allen will be third. Jordan Bly, of course, will be our kick returner and our punt returner. All right, here's what we got. We're starting on the road at Toledo. Going to get involved in a little bit of action, so that'll be fun. Bye week 2. Week 3, we will be hosting Tulsa, which if you remember from earlier in the video, one of our coordinators is now the head coach over there, so I thought it'd be fun to bring them to town and see if we can show them who really was the reason for the success at Old Dominion. And we go on the road at Iowa. I wanted to go somewhere that's a tough destination to play, and if you've watched any Big Ten football, Iowa is a very, very tough place to play. Kinnick Stadium is so many seasons have died there, so we're going to go to town, really test ourselves and see if we've got what it takes to stack up against one of the tougher teams that you will find out there. Then our conference season starts, so we've got Miami, who's currently ranked as it stands right now to kick things off, followed by Georgia Tech, rivalry game against Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Pitt, Marshall, the new addition that we added, so they're one of our crossover games, and then North Carolina, Duke, and then we end the year with a rivalry game against Virginia. Then we got a bye week, and then conference championship week, so that's how it stands. Alright, our only team needs are D-tackle and middle linebacker, so we're definitely going to have to try and add some guys to the board at those two positions. Alright, let's start with the positions of needs. First, the middle linebackers, up to a 78 overall Jonathan Johnson. Alright, he's definitely going to be a guy we have to try and really prioritize. Josh Carter's a bust, won't be going after him. Josh Hampton is exactly what we thought he would be, a 67 overall, so early impression, Jonathan Johnson, definitely going to be a priority target for us. Now looking at the D tackles, Matt Young, 71 overall. Okay, you like to see it. Good block shedding, good tackling all around. Titus King is a bust, will not be going after him. Michael Moore, +4 overall, pretty good. Block shedding and tackling all look pretty good. Very slow though, 48 speed. So Matt Young's definitely the best of the bunch. We'll see how much. We got some stiff competition. Oh, our rivals are going after him as well. So this is going to be a tight race for him probably, especially because he's from Virginia. I think tight end is another position we're going to have to prioritize. So let's see. We got bust and a +1 overall. 78 speed, 69 catch, 69 spec catches. Decent, I guess. It's good. It's not too bad. I wish his catching was a little higher though. He is a blocking tight end primarily, so I suppose that does make sense. And his blocking attributes are very good, so nothing wrong with that. I mean, 75 overall is good. Alright, +1 overall to a defensive end and +0 overall. So two guys in the low to mid 70s. Looking at a couple outside linebackers. Hopefully we can improve our depth chart at that spot as well. And neither of them are great, -2 and -1, but still in the 70s, so not the worst thing in the world. They're better than the guys that we brought in last cycle. Taking a look at the corners as well. Jack Haynes, a +5 overall, 92 speed, 83 man, 77 zone. Block shedding isn't great. Tackling is okay. 62 tackles actually really low. But, and only 6'1", 181 as well. An option, for sure. See what Marvin Calhoun is. Only 73 over. I say only. I meant to say only +1, but 73 overall. Very good coverage stats. 83, 85, and 88 speed at 6', 179 as well. He may be a guy we try and prioritize. Bill Golden, a 79 overall strong safety. With the state of our safety room, he may have to be like one of our top priorities. Only 5'9", 171, but 89 speed, good tackling, great in coverage as well. Both man and zone is very capable. 96 press is interesting as well. I guess that'll help for when he's down in the box more. Yeah, he may be the number one player on our board. Zach Mitchell is a 5-star receiver that's interested in us for some reason, so hopefully he's good. Went down 3, which I don't love. Only a 73 overall for a 5-star kid. But 91 speed's good. Good catching, good route running, all that. He's not what I was hoping for from a 5-star receiver, so that's really disappointing. Roy Newberry, 91 speed, not great catch stats. Probably won't prioritize him. Peter Williams, 78 overall, 89 speed, very good catching stats. 82 catching, 86 route running, 74 spec catch, 82 catch in traffic. Seems like a guy that would be hard for defenses to stop. Not super elusive with the ball in his hands, but 89 speed. Slight of frame, 6'1", 178. Wish he was a little bit faster with that, but looks like a very good receiver for sure. And then Ian Mills is a bust. Last recruit we'll look at today is a 4-star athlete. I love me some athletes. I love just recruiting a guy and figuring out where he fits best. That's just one of the thrills of this game that I love so much. So hopefully this guy is someone that we'll be able to do some stuff with. And he is a gem, a +5 overall. Let's see, 91 speed, 72 tackle, 68 hit power, 68 man, 67 play rec, 79 zone coverage, maybe a safety? Decent catching at 72. Not a good route runner, so probably won't put him at receiver. Not good at all that. Elusive, 91, 92 juke, 86 spin, 74 carry. Okay, yeah, this guy, actually, he's kind of similar to David Monroe, frankly. Another, like, you know, good speed, good with the ball in his hands, shifty as all heck, and looks like he can play safety as well, so he could be an interesting guy we try and go after, too. Alright, all the preseason stuff is done. Let's go ahead and advance to the regular season, baby. Look at that, we got 3 preseason All-American and 7 preseason All-Conference guys. I'm going to have to go take a look at that, actually. Interesting. Amari Morrison, a first-team All-NCAA, so All-American left end. So that's cool. Let's see who else we got. Lamarian James, the cornerback 2, it looks like, on the AP All-American team. So that's cool. Cameron Kinchins, I believe, is in the NFL now. I think he just got drafted. And is it going to be? It is. Jordan Bly, first team preseason All-American return man. I mean, who else would it be? I think he won returner of the year. I assume in a landslide, and there's no reason to expect his production to drop off this year. On the preseason All-ACC first team, we got Alex Solano added in at middle linebacker, and somehow, some way, Will Shipley is the returner. I don't know how he's first team All-ACC when Jordan Bly is in the ACC and his first team preseason All-American, but whatever. Just fuel to Jordan Bly's fire, I guess. On the second team, Jordan Bly does show up as the wide receiver 2, so that's kind of cool, getting some recognition for what he contributes in the receiving game. Alonzo Ford Jr. on the second team as well at D tackle, and Josh Cruz getting some recognition, second team corner. I mean, how could you not with the season that he had last year? And again, Jordan Bly not on the return either. Maybe because he's nominated as a receiver, he like can't be double nominated as the return man or something. I'm not sure how it works, but cool that the Monarchs are getting some preseason recognition, even with the move up in conference. All right, and we are in the regular season. Starting the year unranked, not particularly surprising, but as we've seen before, this team is more than capable of putting up some incredible performances, so hopefully we see some of those. We'll be starting it off against Toledo. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank all of y'all for joining me. I enjoy the preseason episode, or the off-season episode, I should call it, a lot. I like doing it every year. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens with the results, with the stress and thrill of signing day, trying to get those guys in late in the cycle, and I think we're going to have a heck of a team this year. Moved up in conference, so it's going to be harder. We've won both of the Group of 5 conferences we were part of, so it felt about right. It felt like it was the time to move up to Power 5 conference, and I'm super excited. Season 3 coming up, baby. But that's going to be it for now. Thank all y'all again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Later, y'all.